Hello, and welcome back to A Purring Wolverine. And tonight, instead of going through the code to my new website, which I built recently, we are going to just read a book. I went to the dentist today, and I am still sore of jaw. And while it doesn't really affect my ability to speak too much, thinking and explaining code right now sounds too much. We'll do that later this week. Instead, I'm going to read this book, The Power Vested in You, which is a book I got recently when I became ordained by the Universal Life Church as a minister. For those of you who don't know, the Universal Life Church is a church that exists, as far as I know, largely to help people get married. I don't really know too much about them, to be honest. My cousin became a minister when he was marrying friends of his, and then ultimately married my wife and I became a minister of the Universal Life Church in order to be able to marry my brother next month. I'm very excited for that. But you also get this snazzy book by The Power Vested in You. As you can see, it's a non-denominational church, the Universal Life Church. We're just going to read the book here. I think we'll read it for like 20-ish minutes. See how far we go. I might skip around a little bit. I might just read it straight through. We'll see. So the dedication to you, our ministers. We are so proud and so grateful for the good you do in the universe every day. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. I'm doing good in the universe. The Universal Life Church advocates proudly and fiercely that all loving individuals should have the ability to 1. Get married, and 2. Enjoy a wedding that aligns with their own personal beliefs. That includes deciding what type of ceremony to hold and who will be in charge of conducting it. The ULC was proud to be on the front lines of the battle for marriage equality and continues to fight for LGBTQ+ rights everywhere. Throughout this guide, as we walk through the various elements that make up a typical wedding ceremony, we've made a concerted effort to employ inclusive language and decouple our guidance from wedding traditions that are exclusive to certain identities. With that said, some references to traditional or normative wedding customs may remain. Where included, they exist for the sake of clarity for the reader. We apologize if these terms cause any offense. I'm going to skip over the table of contents, the least interesting page in many books, despite being the most important in, encyclopedias, I guess. I don't know. Introduction. As a wedding officiant, you have the privilege of overseeing the beautiful moment when two hearts join together. Regardless of the form the ceremony takes, the wedding is often one of the most important days in a couple's life. It is an honor to be asked to solemnize a ceremony, but it also places on you the serious responsibility of facilitating a wonderful experience for everyone involved. The goal of this guide is to help you learn more about what you can do before, during, and after the wedding ceremony to ensure that the wedding day is a pleasant one for the couple and for their guests. Though there are common trends and traditions for weddings, many couples prefer to have a more non-traditional ceremony. And then I look away from the book because I'm trying to make eye contact with you, and I completely lose my space. They can do this by asking a friend or family member to officiate. A couple can create a wedding ceremony of their dreams this way. If you are asked to officiate a wedding, then you should take the time to talk with the couple about their preferences and use the information in this book to help you prepare for the wedding according to their wishes. We're going to skip over the online resources. After being asked to perform a wedding, chances are that many thoughts and feelings are running through your head. You may be honored, surprised, or excited, but you may also be unsure or nervous. Fear not. This guide will teach you everything you need to know to perform an amazing wedding ceremony. Think about all the weddings you've attended in your life. You've probably been a guest many times in the wedding party, a few times, and maybe even one of the betrothed. As you likely recall, there are a number of different players in a wedding. Tens or hundreds of guests, perhaps a dozen in the wedding party, or just 2 at the altar, but only 1 minister. This means you, as the officiant, have a tremendous responsibility of single-handedly leading everyone present through this personal and powerful ceremony. Understanding this responsibility will allow you to approach your role with the proper mindset. Though there is a great significance and gravity in the part you must play, don't forget that a wedding is not a solemn event, but rather one of love and joy. You have been blessed with the wonderful opportunity to be involved in a union that is simultaneously deeply spiritual and legally significant. Just as the officiant guides the wedding ceremony, this book will guide you to be the proper officiant. Whether or not this is your first time officiating a wedding, you will find plenty here to help you. This guide will walk you through the preparations you should make before the ceremony, the actions you'll take during the ceremony, and the things you need to keep in mind once the ceremony is over to ensure that all those loose ends are tied off. You'll also be treated to a number of creative ideas that can be utilized in crafting a number of unique and customized ceremonies. Read through these pages carefully, make notes, and keep in mind that there is only one officiant of the wedding: you. The information in this guide will help you remain vigilant in your preparations, but don't forget that the couple plays a major role as well. Together, you can visualize the perfect ceremony, and by the power vested in you, make it a reality. Before the ceremony. In this section, we will examine the items that you will need to consider before the ceremony. A great deal of stress can be avoided by addressing these matters well ahead of the wedding ceremony instead of waiting till the last moment. Ordination. In the United States, most jurisdictions recognize pastors, priests, clergymen, ministers, judges, and justices of the peace as people who are authorized to solemnize a marriage. Each state has unique criteria for who can legally officiate, and you should verify the rules within your state before performing any weddings. In most areas of the country, ministers who are ordained online by the Universal Life Church can perform legally binding weddings. The ULC is one of the largest and most widely recognized religious organizations on earth, with millions of members bound together by a common guiding belief that we are all children of the same universe. I mean, like, that's it. I might have to do a whole thing on the Universal Life Church. It's sort of interesting. Some people decide to become ordained because they have been asked by a couple they know personally to officiate their wedding. But we frequently hear from ministers who enjoy performing their first wedding so much that they go on to officiate another and then another. Maybe I could do your wedding. Many are asked to perform wedding and other ceremonies so often it can become a full-time career. Yeah, who needs... it's amazing. Full-time career. The easiest, surest, and quickest way to complete your legal ordination online is by going through the Universal Life Church's website. I'm going to skip ahead here because this is all things that I have legitimately already done, and I already showed you the credentials to prove it. In some countries, you might be asked to provide documentation. State and county laws. As the officiant, you need to make sure that the wedding ceremony is held in accordance with state and local laws. Across most of the country, a number of officials are legally allowed to perform wedding ceremonies, including judges and members of the clergy. Ordained ministers of the Universal Life Church have the authority to officiate weddings across much of the United States. That said, marriage laws are often governed at the local level. You will find that they can vary significantly from one county to the next. After you've gotten ordained, we urge you to contact the office of your local marriage authority, typically a county clerk, in the area where the wedding will take place for additional information pertinent to your specific situation. On our website, we've compiled the Internet's most comprehensive archive of wedding law knowledge pertinent to the United States and beyond. If you haven't already, we invite you to visit this section and navigate to the page created for your specific location. Please take the time to review and understand the laws that affect you as a minister. Acting as a wedding officiant is tremendously rewarding. It's tremendously rewarding, but it is also a serious responsibility. You must ensure that you are operating per the requirements laid out by the law so that the weddings you officiate are legally binding. If you're having trouble locating the local laws surrounding marriage in your area, the marriage law section of our website will refer you to the relevant legal code, as well as provide a basic overview of the laws and requirements in each state. You are also welcome to contact a member of our support staff. Paperwork. Solemnizing a marriage is a serious legal responsibility. As such, you should establish a written contract for each wedding that you are asked to perform. You can use a general contract for each wedding and fill in the names of the couple, as well as the date, time, and location of the ceremony. If you charge a fee for wedding ceremony services, we'd recommend that you request a deposit when the contract is signed. Why would you need a contract if you're not getting paid? To hold you to it, but if the bride changes their mind, they're not going to give a shit that they signed a piece of maybe. Bride still in action. Which actually didn't happen with my wife, don't get the wrong idea. She was super pleasant, actually. Anyway, collect your money ahead of time, guys. Depending on your location, either one or both members of the couple will be required to go to the office of the local marriage authority to pick up a copy of their marriage license. It is very important that both they and you fully comprehend the rules that have been established to govern these documents. Location. The couple will usually have a location selected for their ceremony, but sometimes they might ask their minister for advice about choosing a venue. Popular locations include churches, country clubs, and reception halls. However, the possibilities are unlimited. Some couples choose to have their wedding ceremony on a beach, in the mountains, in a backyard, at a park, in a dance club, or even on a boardwalk. Whether the ceremony is being planned to take place on a public or private property, you should verify that the group has permission to perform the ceremony in that location. As the wedding officiant, it can be beneficial to visit the wedding location in advance so that you are familiar with the venue and can make ceremony plans accordingly. For example, if the couple has requested a traditional activity like candle lighting like a candle lighting ceremony. Sometimes when I read things, I'm like live editing. I've been doing that here. I just live edit a sentence to way I feel like it should sound. And then sometimes it gets me in trouble. You can work to position the couple so that they are visible to all the guests if you know the surrounding layout. Similarly, you might use the opportunity to conduct an investigation of any challenging factors the venue might present. For example, is there a lot of background noise? A wedding rehearsal provides the perfect opportunity to work through any logistical considerations referenced above that ought to be addressed before the ceremony with the wedding party. If the couple doesn't have a rehearsal planned, you should strongly suggest that they hold one. Wedding ceremonies require a great deal of precision. Given the importance of the wedding ceremony, all steps should be taken to ensure that it both flows smoothly and adheres to the couple's wishes. If it is an especially small wedding, a formal rehearsal may not be necessary. Any rehearsal that does take place should include as much of the wedding party as possible, bridesmaids, groomsmen, the ring bearer, etc. It's important that everyone with a role to play has a complete understanding of their personal responsibilities and understands where they need to be. Another advantage of an on-location rehearsal is that it provides an opportunity for the couple to review the entire ceremony and discuss any last-minute details, allowing you to put the finishing touches on your plan. Making it legal. This is the part that I'm most worried about, is messing up the paperwork, and then they go to file something a year from now. It's no, you're not married. Two people who love each other can plan a party, get dressed up, and walk down the aisle, but without an ordained minister, the wedding won't be legally binding. As an ordained minister of the Universal Life Church, acting as a wedding officiant, you are not only responsible to be the master of ceremonies for the big event, but also must act as the representative of the ULC in asserting legal validity of the union before the state. Most counties require that the minister show some form of documentation proving their affiliation with the Universal Life Church. Because of the documentation required will vary county to county, you should get in touch with the local marriage authority, typically the county clerk's office, to find out exactly what you need. Every form of documentation you may require is available in the ULC online catalog, be it an ordination credential, a letter of good standing, and or supplies for the wedding itself. Like this book. These documents display to the state and to the wedding couple that you have the legal right to perform the marriage ceremony. Keep in mind that the couple won't necessarily take the time to check out all of the laws themselves, which is understandable given the fact that they are likely busy planning a wedding. As the minister, part of your job is to ensure the local laws are understood and obeyed. Additionally, it is important for the couple to contact the local authority that issues the marriage license so that they have it on hand at the time of the ceremony. Often, marriage licenses are only legally valid for 30 days, though this varies significantly by state, and will need to be obtained, signed, and returned to the issuing office within that window. After the ceremony is complete, find a moment to pull the happy couple aside and ask them to sign the marriage license. Alternatively, you could consider incorporating the signing into the ceremony itself. You, as officiant, will need to sign the license as well. Note that many states require signatures from at least one witness who attended the wedding as well. Tailoring your message. As you prepare for the wedding, you must make time. You should make time to sit down with the couple to discuss their personal beliefs. A keen understanding of their beliefs will aid you in creating an especially personalized ceremony. In the appendix of this guide, we have provided a worksheet containing a few conversation starters in hopes of helping you to create a more carefully crafted ceremony. The more you learn about the couple, the more able you will be to put together a ceremony that adheres closely to their desires. You might also, with the couple, take the guest list into consideration in order to avoid offending anyone who might be present at the ceremony. It's your ceremony. If you happen to be personally subscribed to a specific faith perspective, then you might include teachings or principles derived from your beliefs in the wedding ceremony. Do be wary that if the wedding couple doesn't subscribe exactly to one of those same specific beliefs, then you might cause offense by referencing these religious principles. Remember, this day is about them, not about you. You should engage in a dialogue with the couple well in advance of the ceremony in order to ensure that you focus on items that are of the greatest importance to them. The wedding party. Knowing details about the wedding party in advance can be extremely helpful. That knowledge will allow you to cater your language to match the unique dynamics of those who will be in attendance. For example, it would be extremely embarrassing for you to refer to a woman that you assume is the groom's mother as such, only to find that she is his grandmother or sister. To avoid any humiliation like this, make sure you have met the wedding party and understand the relationships between everyone involved. You will need a worksheet at the back of this guide. You will find a worksheet at the back of this guide that will help you keep track of who's who, including members of the wedding party and other individuals like you who are tasked with ensuring the big day moves forward as smoothly as possible. You may also speak with the wedding couple to see if they have preferences about the way they are addressed during the ceremony. For example, they might prefer to be called by their nickname instead of their legal name, or you may need assistance with the correct pronunciation of their names so that you say them properly during the ceremony. Alright, we'll read this one last section here because it looks like that's basically the end of the first chapter. Traditions. Ask the couple if there are any particular traditions, religious or otherwise, they would like to see included in the ceremony. For example, some people choose to add elements such as a candle lighting, a ring exchange, a hand fasting, a musical performance, scripture reading, or communion. You can talk with the couple to determine the best place to fit those traditions into the ceremony and how they might most effectively be carried out. These traditions might be derived from their family history, culture, or they might be based on certain religious principles. Be sure you fully understand and are respectful of the requested traditions and their significance so that you can make the couple feel as comfortable as possible. If you aren't immediately familiar with a specific tradition the couple is requesting, then you should take some time to independently study the subject. You should also speak with them directly to learn more about their preferences and how the tradition should be presented during the ceremony. Sometimes a wedding couple might choose to work in non-traditional elements into their ceremony as well. Examples could include a non-traditional song played during the wedding, or even a little humor added in. If that's something they're interested in, encourage the couple to have fun with these aspects. As you discuss which traditions to include within the ceremony with the couple, you would all be wise again to take into consideration the feelings of the guests who will be in attendance, so that no offense will be caused to them that might otherwise distract from the ceremony. As a general rule, it is advised that you avoid incorporating any special traditions in the ceremony that are traditionally associated with a certain culture if nobody involved is a member of or active participant in that culture. You wouldn't want perceived impropriety to steal the show. And with that really strange note to end on, we're going to wrap up here for today. So, the next section is the ceremony itself. So that was the pre-work. We might read more of this, we might not. Let me know what you all thought. Hopefully it was a little bit relaxing for you. And sometime the next week or two, we'll go through some code.